And they're away. So we've got Malden leading the charge, and Jesus will be trying their very best to catch them. So the first three crews away, but the fourth crew there, Trinity, have made headway already against St Anne's. They've really closed up. The gap is down to a length already, and they've opened up the gap with the crew behind.
Absolutely, a strong start from Trinity. Sorry about the gap there. I was just having a little technical issue, but hopefully I'm back now.
And then 2 places back, Somerville are making a real fist of getting LMH. In fact, they're probably going to catch them before Donington Bridge. That is a really good start from Somerville.
Fantastic start from Somerville. As we switch to the next camera, we now see Jesus closing on Morden at top division. Very scrappy from Morden. They're not looking tidy at all as they come into the gap.
And Jesus have pulled away from St Anne's, who are just about, they've conceded there.
We saw a concession from St Anne's, and we see a concession from Lady Margaret Hall on Somerville.
Yes, that's Somerville. So 2 bumps almost immediately, or almost at the same time.
And we see, I think Brasenose are just slowly closing in on St John's. They might get them, but I think it's going to take them a little while.
And then it's St Cat's who've come up from the division below, who are a fair way behind Brasenose.
Yeah, as we see, and Jesus still haven't quite caught Magdalen. They're very, very close. This is going to be a fun one as we come through the gut. Magdalen Cox looking round, so Jesus must be right on their tail. See if they are going to steer this nicely. Hopefully, we'll switch the camera at Longbridge and camera 3. As we see Brayton getting very close to the dog. I'm catching a crab.
And Brasenose were just about to get a bump there. That won't have helped any.
So let's see if we can have a look at camera 3, see if we can see what's going on between Jesus and Morden at the top. Morden and Jesus look like they're clearing out. So
Jesus, yes, they must have had the bump.
It looks like there has been a bump there. Well done to Jesus. So that will put Jesus up into Women's Division 1.
Yes, they look happy.
To the tree.
But Magdalen have to carry on because they've got to go right the full course all anyway. But we have 3 crews close together there, which are the nearest to us is the second nearest to us is Brasenose, and Cats are the ones who the sandwich boat from the division below. They don't look like they've got the pace to catch up, but Brasenose ahead of them, definitely catching up on St John's.
St Catherine's not taking the greatest line there either. They're following the bay. That bay really is worth just straight lining. It's quite minor on the inside. You don't really want to follow it round unless there's very high stream.
And that's St Anne's with their red visors on. They're looking very neat and tidy. But with Jesus having bumped out, they have to try and catch Magdalen 2 ahead of them.
Absolutely, which I think is going to be a bit of an ask for St Anne's, and they, of course, have already been caught by Trinity. So we see Brasenose now pushing up on St John's. See if they can keep it clean. They got very, very close, and their bow girl caught a crab. So
they were so close before. They're gaining every stroke. You can see that gap closing.
Definitely closing. John Scott's looking around. He's wondering how long it's going to be. Only a few feet in it now. In fact, we might just be starting to get overlap on the surge. Johns do not have long here. They're going to try, and as soon as they rudder straight, they're probably going to put in a push out of the gut, see if they can walk away from Brasenose, but I don't think they're going to be able to. Brasenose just need to keep it clean for a couple more strokes, and I think they'll have them.
And also St John's have to cut across the river. So
absolutely. So
the way they want, they're trapped.
Yeah, Brasenose are sitting in very much the correct position. Although John's
but they've pulled away. They've pulled away. Well done, St John's. That's a good effort when they've been caught up twice.
And we'll see what that gap looks like as they come up towards Boathouse Island. We see the nice large gaps at the front between Magdalen and St Anne's. Of course, Jesus have bumped out of there, and between St Anne's and LMH, where Trinity have bumped out. And a fairly large gap back from LMH to, I believe that's Lincoln, because some of us we saw bump out.
Somerville bumped out, yes. So it's Lincoln, St John's and Brasenose, and it's that battle for the final place between Brasenose and St John's. And it looks like St John's have pulled away significantly there, and they're continuing to open up a gap. So obviously the Cox has cracked the whip, said the right thing, and it has worked. And now they've got second wind, and they look like they're in danger of catching the crew in front now.
We'll see. It certainly they look like they're being able to walk away from Brasenose. I suspect Brasenose have put all of their effort into the first third of the race and are now somewhat spent. They don't really have any reserves left to give.
No, the blade work is starting to lose its cohesion, I think is the polite way of putting it.
Absolutely. They'll just have to hope that they can hold off St. Catherine's, who've probably been having a fairly controlled race up until this point.
Gosh, they've got a length. St. John's have pulled a length on Brasenose after having had an overlap.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Or the doors have come off behind them. I think Phil was talking about fly and die before.
Well, it's
I think they've flown.
It's definitely a valid tactic. Unfortunately, it doesn't always pay off. And provided that you can, it's not too bad provided you can stay away from the crew behind. But what you really don't want is to fly and die and then get caught by the crew behind you instead. So.
No, and here comes St. Cat's.
Yeah.
They're closing very quickly. They are really closing.
They are, but I don't think they're going to make it. I think they're just going to run out of river.
It's by the blue narrowboat this finish, isn't it?
It is, yes. I think you can just about see the post, although it's a little bit blurry.
At this end of the day, most things tend to be blurry, don't they? No, they probably won't go. Unless, well, if they have another crab, Brasenose will be caught. They look like they're going for it, St. Cat's.
They are definitely going for it.
Oh, well, they were. They steered away. That's a pity.
Brasenose looking like they're running. Maybe it's closer than it looks.